First and foremost, there's the console 60 FPS modes, and this one is thankfully simple and clean. The game runs at 60 frames per second, and that's that. While edge cases are always possible, and I can't guarantee 100% locking to 60, I was unable to find any drops at all on any of the consoles. Given its roots and the fact that FPS boost already existed for the original release, it's not exactly surprising, but it's nice to confirm that you do get a super stable 60. Where it gets interesting though is with the 120Hz mode. You see, there's really a couple things going on here. So firstly, the performance in this mode ranges from roughly 70 to 120 FPS on all four machines, but there is some variation here. You do not get a stable 120 unfortunately, but it's definitely a significant boost over what you get normally. PS5 Pro, for instance, outperforms the base PS5 in many scenes, leading to a more consistent experience all around, in addition to that higher resolution. So it's properly putting in the work to deliver a professional grade experience. If we look at the Xbox side then, the Series X outperforms Series S, which again, not unsurprising as it's a more powerful console, but I still think it's fair to say that the Series S does pretty darn well. When comparing Xbox Series X against the base PS5, however, the Xbox Series X actually has a performance advantage. These two machines are using the same settings in this mode, so it becomes an interesting example to show how Xbox can outperform PS5 in the same situations, which is certainly not always the case. So it would be easy to recommend this mode to all players if you have a capable screen, right? But alas, there seems to be an issue with this version that we played for the video. Essentially, on Xbox, VRR does not currently behave correctly. It simply appears to use standard VSync as opposed to VRR, so you get judder when the frame rate is between 60 and 120. Clearly, this is unintended and it should be fixed, but it's something to note if you're jumping in at launch. VRR in Xbox is handled at the system level after all, but the results here behave like normal VSync, even if the TV indicates that VRR is enabled. Weirdly enough, the system that usually struggles with VRR actually does a great job here. The two PS5 machines run with VRR exactly as intended, without any of the VSync judder that we see on Xbox. So in its current form, I would suggest using the 60 FPS cap if you're playing on Xbox consoles, at least until they fix the VRR mode. The other remaining mode though is this energy saving option, which exists on all the consoles. It's not the special PS5 firmware based energy savings either, rather it simply implements a 30 FPS cap or a 60 FPS cap with lower fidelity. And sure enough, it does indeed slightly reduce the overall energy footprint of the console. But now let's shift over to the PC briefly here, because there are some major performance improvements as well. So Alex talked about the original Gears of War Ultimate last year and basically noted that the game was horribly CPU limited. Looking in one direction could effectively halve your frame rate, resulting in poor consistency when playing above 60 FPS. I'm happy to report then that this has been completely fixed, and those same scenarios now show much lower average CPU utilization. The game basically runs a lot better now without those wild inconsistencies, making it a great choice for modern PC gamers who want to play at high refresh rates. The PC version is also Steam Deck verified, I should note, and delivers a great experience on the go. Same deal for the upcoming ROG Ally X, where it has special profiles. So while there are a few quibbles at the moment, the overall experience is impressively polished on all machines. With that said then, what about the game itself? While Gears of War really was an important game for the industry back in 2006, it had a strong impact on both technology and game design that can still be felt to this day. But it is still ultimately a product of 2006, and the game logic and basic flow of everything is directly tied into this. The AI, for instance, is nothing to write home about, and you'll encounter some wonky behavior from time to time. There's also limitations like this, such as when the crew is talking amongst themselves within the gameplay engine, you'll note that mouths do not move.
You got a plan, let's hear it.
I know somebody who lives out here. It's got a vehicle. It's a piece of crap junker, but it runs.
There's tons of small little details like this that are ultimately not a big deal, but it is worth mentioning. Still, overall, I was reminded of how well crafted each section of the campaign is. You can really feel that Resident Evil 4 influence that the game had with the constant shifting of mechanics and ideas. Like, the initial city basically focuses on nailing down the combat, getting you used to it, but then halfway through they introduce you to the Hammer of Dawn concept, which adds a fun wrinkle where you need to use open sky to target these large enemies to take them out. Then later on, you're introduced to the Berserker, which is a blind enemy that requires you to use sound to attract her into smashable walls. Here you then need to figure out how to get her out into the open so you can use the Hammer of Dawn again. Cool stuff. The second level then introduces things such as nighttime, where you need to explode these canisters to light the way, avoiding the krill in the process. One step into the shadows and you're dead. You also use a spotlight at some point and various other things, including a driving sequence. Beyond that, there's boss battles, there's a minecart sequence, moody exploration, large-scale battles, a train ride, and a whole lot more. It's full of variety and a ton of fun.